we begin with very little fanfare. You don't even get like the noise over the studio logos. We begin in the Mediterranean, south of Marseille, where a few guys, some fishermen, are doing...
A couple of dudes!
Yeah, they're doing the ultimate fisherman activity, which is getting absolutely filthy and playing cards with your boys in like a heaving sea. And one of them goes out for, I guess, to maybe do some fishing. He's remembered what his job is. And he sees like what he thinks is a dead body floating in the sea with a little like flashing strobe marker on it. So they haul that guy aboard, and it's none other than wet Matt Damon. So what they do with wet Damon is that they don't like call the Coast Guard or anything. They just put him on a table. What, Wet Damon?
No, they should have called somebody. I'm surprised they did. Now you've said that, I'm like, why didn't they do that?
Yeah, I've identified... This is the problem with this movie, is you can identify plot holes in it very easily and, like, pick it apart. And I don't really want to do that, but you can't help it sometimes.
Fishermen very much have the sort of, like, wolf instinct, where if they find an abandoned boy, they will just adopt him.
Yeah, he was raised by fishermen.
He's by fishermen. Taught the ways of the sea.
I mean, he really is, right? Because, like, they nurse him back to health and they teach him their ways because they think he's dead. He, like, twitches a bit and they realize he's not. And their, I guess, 19th century ship's doctor decides to do some surgery on him. And so what happens is that they do just raise him as their own, right? They give him the fisherman ensemble of, like, extremely gross cable knit sweater and like big waterproof pants, and then he just fishes for a bit until they get back into, I'm not even sure whether it's Italy or France, but like, and so she's just talking to fill space, and he's just listening. And she gets a little bit unnerved by this, and he's like, "No, please keep talking. You're like the only person I've spoken to who hasn't been a fish guy in weeks." And they have this really
first woman I've spoken to in a long time, or ever, as far as I'm aware.
She's talking about Hearts of Iron 4 for like 60 kilometers. She's like, okay, so you want a division of this combat width, and he's just like, sure, yep.
And he tells her, he's like, fuck it, and he tells her, like, I can't remember anything. I've got all these skills. I've got these like passports. All I know is the ways of the fisherman and how to disarm a policeman.
I'm still sort of caught up on like interrogating a guy by being like, who do I work for?
Bonk. Who am I? Bonk. And it's like, so at this point,
who's Jersey Bond of?
So at this point, Matt
kind
Damon...
of line would you use to catch a place?
So Bourne
He's
takes
doing
Marie.
His little like fucking super spy analysis of
I'm
the
sorry, we've entered
He's
the
like,
bit zone.
I know. I immediately know what kind of fish these guys are going to be serving. I know exactly what temperature it needs to be cooked at. I know its migratory route.
I know whether it was net caught or trawled. And because Jason Bourne was raised by fishermen, he's one with nature, and he fires a shotgun that causes like a cloud of birds to explode up, and this kind of like throws Professor Chimp off, and then he shoots Professor Chimp with a shotgun. Shred everything, delete all the hard drives, pay a settlement to that woman who accused Prince Andrew of stuff, and we'll get the fuck out of here because the fisherman's coming. And so then
we didn't know this guy's been raised by fishermen. He's way above our pay grade now.
And the fisherman cometh, and he uses another one of his powers, which is to trigger every car alarm along a street as a distraction. Yeah, no, he refuses that kind of masculinity. He becomes transgender. He kills the James Bond in his head because he's like, no, I don't want to be this person anymore. This is toxic. This is wrong.
He remembers that, you know, what Ma and Pa Kent fisherman taught him, which is, you know, you got to be one. We're going to be one with nature, and you know, we take fish, but we let the ones we don't need go.
And meanwhile, Turf Conklin is like, no, you were assigned spy at birth. You have to do this forever. Absolutely. Spies cannot become not spies.
You don't get to quit, motherfucker. We own you. What do you mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, they could, and you try and think of a better way of starting a sequel than just killing Marie outright.
Really?
She is fucking donezo. I don't know if they do. I haven't watched the fucking thing.
She's up there with the dog in terms of the lifespan.
Aww.
terrible. Well, I mean, we'll get into that because the plan is.
I'm not really too interested in like the adventures of Jason Bourne, autistic fisherman.
This is a dictatorship, and as such, I'm forcing both of you to follow me through Jason Bourne's fish adventures.
Let's keep that bit going.
I really like, raised by fishermen. It's so funny.
So. Yeah, his fish powers.